initially thought I'd wait for Bama to show himself and then finish him with a lethal strike. Now that I think about it, the preparations Bama made far exceeded my imagination. This wasn't as simple as losing 200 years of life. He practically staked his entire being on these puppets. If another 8-leaf puppet were to appear, it would mean Bama has already disregarded life and death. Even though Kong Yuan had become a corpse, his affinity with the rosary remained, and as if he could sense its location, he lunged towards Shujing and the others. The huge, ink-black avatar was like a streamlined meteor in the air. Lin Luo followed Shujing and the others, dodging back and landing behind a rock. Standing before them was Lu Zhou, who remained calm and composed as always. They didn't know what means the Pavilion Lord had to block this terrifying demon Zen, but they chose to trust him unconditionally. Everyone raised their heads and looked at Kong Yuan. Lu Zhou's large, aged hand turned upwards. What appeared in his palm was not a lethal strike card, but the nameless sword. A faint blue light lingered on the nameless sword. This was the extraordinary power of the heavenly writing. The moment the ink-black demon Zen avatar arrived before him, the divine power of the host's responsive thoughts activated. Lu Zhou swung his sword with force, a diagonal slash from the bottom left to the top right. This sword strike was simple and unadorned, like an ordinary person practicing with a sword, or even just swinging their arm. The air seemed to freeze. The ink-black demon Zen avatar actually cracked open, as fragile as paper. If the sword demon Yushanrong had witnessed this sword strike, one wonders what he would have thought. He had exhausted all his strength, using everything he had learned in his life, just to cleave the demon Zen avatar with one strike. Yet his master, with a casual, understated wave, had split the avatar in two. Was there any justice in this world? When an avatar disperses, according to common sense, the cultivator is bound to be severely injured. Kong Yuan was already dead. When the avatar was cut open, the ink-black energy poured out, and Kong Yuan was merely sent flying backward. But immediately after, Kong Yuan struck out in midair, lunging forward again with his physical body. A corpse, fearless, futile, coming from the beginningless, through all existences, turning through samsara, receiving life. With this sword strike, this venerable one will send you into reincarnation. Kong Yuan swooped horizontally. The purple mist seemed to be fixed in place. A ball of purple fog shot out from the jungle. Bind! The people of the evil sky pavilion were startled. Bama had finally appeared. I offer my life in exchange for a prison no living being can escape. Now die. The mist was like a great net, sealing off everyone's escape routes. Master, Pavilion Lord, be careful. Hua Wudao rushed over and activated the 6 Union Seal, but it was too late. Lu Zhou glanced at Bama, hovering above. You've finally shown yourself. In this situation, Lu Zhou chose impenetrable. This time, what appeared was not a golden Buddha body, but a cross-shaped 6 Union Seal. Standing on the 8 trigrams, 10 large seal script characters flew swiftly from his body. The purple mist that was originally covering the evil sky pavilion was instantly blasted outwards by this terrifying cross-shaped 6 Union Seal. Hua Wudao craned his neck to look up. Was this F** King still his 6 Union Seal? Was this really the seal he had researched and created himself? One strike per character. Besides a circular shield, there were also forceful energy seals formed by the 10 characters, which accurately struck Kong Yuan. The cross spun, completing a 10-hit combo in sequence. Shatter. From the 1st to the 3rd character, Kong Yuan could still hold on. From the 4th to the 6th character, Kong Yuan retreated repeatedly. By the 9th character, Kong Yuan's body was smashed to pieces. If I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time. This effect was beyond Lu Zhou's expectations. Impenetrable has always been primarily for defense. Kong Yuan stubbornly refused to believe it and stood in the rotational path of the glowing halo formed by the 10 characters. Kong Yuan. Bama revealed a stunned expression and said in a low voice, "You are unaffected by the binding?" Everyone was immobilized for a short time, yet Lu Zhou was completely unaffected. Lu Zhou glanced at the purple mist and didn't waste words with him. His left hand moved upwards against the flow, and the lethal strike card appeared in his palm. This venerable one has been waiting for you for a long time. Lethal strike. Bama's eyes widened in despair. This palm strike, the power it contained was too terrifying. Since death is inevitable, let's die together. Instead of retreating, he advanced, lunging forward with the purple mist. Lu Zhou pushed his palm forward. Bama was stunned. The terrifying lethal strike replaced the 6 Union Seal, pushing forward. It was a great seal surrounded by countless dense seal script characters, and the sight made everyone hold their breath. Even seeing their master use this move for the second time, it was still unbelievable. Composed of 9 great seals, each hand seal corresponds to one of the 9 characters. Similar to what happened with Kong Yuan, Bama resisted forcefully until the 8th palm print struck him. The mist around Bama dissipated. Under the light of the 9-syllable 6 Union Seal, his entire face was covered in bloody gashes, as if cut by a knife. Blood trickled from his 7 orifices, dripping from his facial features, as if time had stood still. Ding! Target killed. Obtained 2,000 merit points. Hearing this notification, he knew that Bama was already dead. He had refined his own body, just like Kong Yuan, allowing him to continue attacking after death. Thinking back, it would have been better to use the fearless seal and annihilate him completely. Then none of this would have happened. When the 9th palm print struck his heart, Bama's eyes were filled with disbelief, but he was already breathless. A blood-refined body. Lin Luo reminded, this venerable one can kill you once, and can kill you again. What is a true expert? Lu Zhou had just given everyone a serious demonstration. This is a true expert. Kong Yuan, whom Lung Luo and Pan Litian couldn't handle, was so fragile before the Pavilion Lord. They suddenly thought of a question. The world said the evil Sky Pavilion's old ancestor was approaching the end of his life. Year after year there were guesses, probing, and sieges, but none ever succeeded. Normally, one's cultivation would decline in the last 100 years. So how did the Pavilion Lord maintain his cultivation? There was only one possibility. The old ancestor of the evil Sky Pavilion had perhaps truly found the way to the 9-leaf stage. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would never have believed the Pavilion Lord of the evil Sky Pavilion could wield such terrifying power. A phrase popped into the minds of the 3 elders of the Elders Pavilion at the same time. True mastery. At the Pavilion Lord's level, the control over power is one of true mastery. No grand openings and closings, no dazzling forceful energy or techniques. Just like before, as Bama lunged forward, the nameless sword slashed through his body, just as he had admonished Yu Shangrong. If you want to kill your opponent, just swing your sword with force. The sharpness of the nameless sword was beyond everyone's comprehension. The sound was like splitting bamboo, crisp and satisfying, an indescribably satisfying feeling. For the first time, the people of the evil Sky Pavilion felt how wonderful this sound of splitting was, so wonderful that all their pressure was immensely relieved in an instant. The sorcery genius of Lulan had thus fallen. The surroundings of the evil Sky Pavilion became very quiet. Lu Zhou glanced at the blood-refined body on the rock, feeling no sympathy. Sorcery also has its light and dark sides. Bama chose the darkest path. Master is divinely powerful. This disciple's eyes have been opened. Everyone looked at Zhu Honggong. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Now is not the time for flattery. Those repelled puppets slowly moved forward again. Without a controller, they closed in like machines. There are too many of them, and their defense is astonishing. If we kill them one by one, who knows when we'll be finished. Whitesword, Lu Zhou gave the command. Whitesword, treading on auspicious clouds and bathed in auspicious energy, arrived above the purple mist. The scene from the great battle with the 10 sorcerers reappeared. While Wu Dao's eyes widened, watching Whitesword descend with its auspicious energy, the purple mist was rapidly suppressed by the auspicious energy until it settled on the ground. Having lost the support of the purple mist, the puppets fell to the ground one by one. This process continued for a while, until all the purple mist disappeared and all the puppets had fallen. Whitesword let out a long cry, as if it had completed its task, and flew back, disappearing into the darkness. A notification appeared indicating Whitesword was resting. It would probably be for 7 days. Everyone stared blankly in the direction Whitesword disappeared, rubbing their eyes. Is this some kind of huge joke? If you had this thing, why didn't you bring it out earlier? If Whitesword had been released, Bama would likely have turned and fled. Dealing with Bama first, then dealing with this group of puppets, was the safest approach. Looking at the ground full of puppets, Lu Zhou shook his head. This battle was a huge loss. No merit points, and it stirred up a hornet's nest. Not only that, but the purple mist clung to the grass and trees near the mountain foot, draining most of their life force. Many trees simply withered. Amitba, old monk, what is there to Amitba about? Zhu Honggong also felt his skin crawl looking at those things. Although they were controlled by Bama, they had no grievances with us in life. In the end, this is all that great sorcerer's fault. That seems to make some sense. Patron G, all living beings have merit. All reincarnation has its order. Adhering to it brings peace. This humble monk is willing to set up an altar at the foot of the mountain to help their souls pass on. I hope Patron will permit it. The dead are gone. They should be treated with reverence. Thank you, Patron G. On behalf of the deceased, this humble monk thanks all you patrons. Old monk, you're a pretty decent fellow. They're all yours. Then, this old monk is duty-bound. Seeing that the matter was settled, Lu Zhou returned to the evil Sky Pavilion. We respectfully see off the Pavilion Lord. We respectfully see off our master. It was only after Lu Zhou disappeared that everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Old Pan, are you alright? I won't die. Pan Litian gripped his wine gourd and coughed twice. Don't push yourself when your cultivation hasn't recovered. But for many things, only by pushing yourself do you know if you can endure. Stop feeding me your skewed logic. I'll help you back. The disciples watched as Pan Litian and Pan Zhong flew back to the evil Sky Pavilion. Hua Yuexing descended slowly from the top of the evil Sky Pavilion, shaking her head to herself. Still too far off. After a whole battle, the number of puppets she had killed was very limited. Don't be discouraged. Those are the Pavilion Lord's personal disciples. They can't be measured by normal standards of talent. Meanwhile, in the East Pavilion, those 2 sword swings seemed to lack a major explosive force, but they had consumed 2/3 of his extraordinary power. After all, it was power that surpassed the 8-leaf stage, and this was with the foundation of the Nameless Sword. He flipped one palm, and the Nameless Sword hovered above it. Black runes? The Nameless Sword had absorbed all the black runes from the demonic sword, making them its own power. Is that why it became even sharper? With a thought, the Nameless Sword changed into the shape of a hammer. No black runes. When it changed into other shapes, there were no runes either. This time he had used 1 lethal strike card and 1 impenetrable card. His good item cards were dwindling. At the current rate, the cards would run out sooner or later. What he could rely on was his extraordinary power. At the same time, he had to find a way to improve his personal cultivation. The next morning, as soon as Lu Zhou opened his eyes, a voice came from outside the door. Master, Shujing requests an audience. Lu Zhou stood up. He sensed his extraordinary power. A whole night had passed, and it had only increased by a tiny tiny bit. This comprehension speed was truly worrying. Could it be related to the 4th volume of the Heavenly Writing? Would the speed increase with each volume he opened? Arriving outside the evil Sky Pavilion's main hall, the scene before him was quite lively. What's going on? Outside the hall, between the two magnificent pillars, was a crowd of people, all in monks' robes. The area before the hall was filled with monks. Amit Ba, this humble monk pays respects to Patron G. Heaven-chosen temple has accepted 2,000 new disciples. This old monk immediately called them over to assist, but the battle was already over. However, they arrived in time to help deal with the bodies. The task is completed. The foothills have been completely cleaned up. Lu Zhou nodded with satisfaction upon hearing this. Their help was indeed welcome. However, near the foothills, many trees have half withered. I tried using Ci Hang Universal Salvation, but the situation is irreversible. Fortunately, the purple mist was dispelled quickly enough. Otherwise, the entire Golden Court Mountain might have become a withered mountain. We must find an opportunity to restore the barrier. Without the barrier, Golden Court Mountain's defenses are indeed much weaker. Patron G, the Buddha's rosary is too precious. This humble monk cannot accept a reward I have not earned. Please, Patron G, take it back. Lu Zhou glanced at the Buddha's rosary. If not to a monk, who else could he give it to? This venerable one has never liked to owe favors. Your performance was commendable. Since this venerable one has gifted you the rosary, I will not take it back. This humble monk is ashamed. He had thought it was just a temporary tactic by the evil Sky Pavilion to win people over and hadn't dared to actually accept it. They sincerely gave him a gift, yet he had judged a gentleman with a petty mind. Was this the magnanimity and breadth of mind a high-ranking monk should have? He wished he could find a hole to crawl into. It was no wonder his disciples were not fond of these so-called righteous sects. They were always overthinking things, taking themselves too seriously. I gave you the rosary purely because you had some merit. Besides, it's just a worthless string of beads, not valuable at all. Xujing put on the rosary, lifted his monk's robe, and kowtowed piously. This humble monk, on behalf of the entire heaven-chosen temple, thanks Patron G. Ding, received the pious kowtows of 1020 people, gained 10200 merit points. Lu Zhou was somewhat surprised by this notification. He recalled Xujing saying that heaven-chosen temple had accepted many new disciples. Repeated bows couldn't gain merit points, so having 1020 new disciples was a pleasant surprise. By this calculation, giving away the Buddha's rosary wasn't a bad deal. Heaven-chosen temple was reborn with the help of the evil Sky Pavilion and was different from other sects. He couldn't expect that just by giving things away, others would bow down in sincere submission. For the next 10 days or so, to express his gratitude, Xujing insisted on staying and cleaning the evil Sky Pavilion from top to bottom, except for the withered trees at the foot of the mountain, which couldn't be helped. Everything was tidied up by the monks. The steps were spotless. Ming Shirin came to the East Pavilion with a flying letter. Jian Aijian's flying letter. The evil Sky Pavilion was messed up by a minor sorcery cultivator. What happened? The spies of the major cultivation sects are all spreading rumors that half the mountain of the evil Sky Pavilion withered overnight. This is not good news. I must remind you, be careful of the alliance of righteous sects. Here's a major piece of news. The news of Bama's death has reached Lulan. The Lulan royal family is furious and has sent hundreds of cultivators to the country of Gentle Edge to join forces with them. P.S. Your eldest and 7th disciples have gone north. Siwuya's intelligence network in Great Flame is far superior to mine, but when it comes to these special foreign tribes, especially Lulan, he is far inferior to me. Ha ha ha. That is all. Should we call Jian Aijian here? He speaks so unclearly. No need. Great Flame has defeated Lulan many times. In the most recent instance, Lulan even went so far as to use a princess for a political marriage. Moli's marriage was supposed to be a good thing, but it seems she was more willing to become a woman for Lulan's sake, serving as second Prince Lulan's consort. Moli was clearly trying to infiltrate from within over the long term. Now that Moli and Bama were dead, Lulan was naturally furious. The Ji Tiandao of the past had also experienced the era of conflict between Great Flame and these foreign tribes, though he rarely got involved in such matters. Disciple suspects that Lulan and Gentle Edge are using this as an opportunity to invade Lian State. Jian Aijian is a prince. After all, this is their own business. Since Lu Ji took the throne, he has consistently neglected state affairs. He was indifferent even to the death of the second prince, Lu Huan. Things are probably not as simple as you think. Then wouldn't eldest senior brother be attacked from both front and rear? Lu Zhou glanced at him. That's his problem. If they fall, it's a perfect opportunity for Master to capture them and bring them back for questioning. Are you teaching me how to do things? Disciple wouldn't dare. Everything is just following its natural course. Lu Ji doesn't get involved in worldly affairs. It's obvious something is amiss. So what exactly is the imperial family waiting for? Send a flying letter to Jian Aijian and have him investigate the royal family's research into the nine-leaf matter. Disciple obeys. Tell him if he doesn't cooperate, this venerable one will take back his dragon song sword and the demonic sword. Excellent. Disciple obeys. I am going to check on the injuries of Pan Litian and Lun Luo. You handle things here. If there are no urgent matters, you don't need to report. Disciple obeys. Which salty mountain? Snow-covered northern frontier. Biting cold wind. Inside the fragrant grass tomb, however, it was quiet, unaffected by the cold wind. Yu Shangrong summoned his miniature 100 Tribulation Insight avatar, which hovered above his palm. The entire golden lotus was now 2/3 infested. He could clearly feel that the avatar's power had been reduced by more than half. Moreover, the faint purple spots were still spreading upwards. Fate is as such. It begins with fragrant grass. He didn't know when which salty mountain began to have snow year-round. A snowscape without sunlight, apart from the piercing cold, hardly inspired any impulse for appreciation. The cold wind blowing from the only entrance at the top of the fragrant grass tomb was like a horn blowing, wailing incessantly. It was also like the countless white bones in the tomb, voicing their unwillingness. The people of the gentleman country all prayed for longevity, wanting to defy heaven and change their fate, to break free from their shackles and curses, yet it became a field of ruins. Sometimes I wonder, we are all human, why does heaven treat us differently? To change his fate, he left this place in his youth. He crossed thousands of mountains and rivers on his own 2 feet, passed through dangerous forests, seeking cultivation. It was not easy to stand at the pinnacle of human cultivation. To say he was not unwilling at all would be self-deception. The wind grew stronger, pulling him back from his thoughts. Yu Shangrong looked around at the masterfully designed tomb, yet he shook his head repeatedly. He walked towards the wall carved with the 2 seal script characters for longevity. He touched it lightly, click-clack. With a crisp sound, the 2 longevity characters protruded outwards. A mechanism, dozens of hidden projectiles shot out from the walls on both sides. What weak projectiles! These were arrowheads forged by ordinary human hands. Unfortunately, their power was not even 1/10,000th of a cultivator's. The projectiles all fell to the ground. A hidden compartment appeared on the wall. He did not hesitate and reached in. A second stone door slowly opened. Inside was a circular area. In the middle of the circular area was a round stone table, on which sat a brocade box. Surrounding the box were dried fragrant grass. Perhaps due to the passage of time, only the outline of the fragrant grass remained, having long since turned to dust. Yu Shangrong gently waved his sleeve. The fragrant grass flew away, and the dust scattered. Inside the box were several books and a few pills. Yu Shangrong took out the books and glanced at them casually. They were cultivation secrets of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. They would indeed be considered treasures if seen by ordinary people, but to Yu Shangrong, they were a pile of waste paper. As for the pills, their medicinal effects had long since evaporated due to the passage of time. From their shape and the remaining dregs, these few pills were likely relatively low-level longevity-extending pills. They were also useless to him. These things were indeed precious to the past people of gentleman country. It was just unexpected that they would be stored in the fragrant grass tomb. Did no one cultivate? Did no one take them? Yu Shangrong sighed softly. With a single palm strike, the brocade box fell to the floor. A special painting fell from the bottom of the brocade box. To be precise, it was not a painting, but a page from a book, inscribed with various symbols. The white paper and the task his master had given him. The symbols on the white paper seemed very similar to the symbols on this page. He took out the white paper his master had given him from his robes, spread it on the stone table, and compared them one by one. Many symbols were quite similar, and a few were even identical. The page from the book had more symbols. The content recorded on the white paper and the book page were different, but they were of the same style. Master's things? How did Master's things end up here? The other items were not particularly valuable, but this book page must be very precious. He carefully folded it and placed it in his robes. To be able to lie quietly in this brocade box for so many years, unaffected by the weather, meant that the material of this book page was also extraordinary. Yu Shangrong felt something was wrong. He raised a single palm, and the 100 Tribulation Insight avatar appeared. The golden lotus throne was once again stained by the goo sorcery. Is there no going back? If his avatar was fine, he could return to the evil sky pavilion in 7 days by flying at full speed. But now, he would probably be destroyed halfway, with his avatar gone. In the wilderness, there were many beasts. A moment of carelessness and he could become food for fierce beasts. Without his avatar, his cultivation would be equivalent to the 9th level of the quenched body realm, at most capable of doing odd jobs, but not for traveling. At this thought, Yu Shangrong stopped. He sat down cross-legged, mobilized his primal energy, and suppressed the spread of the purple goo sorcery. While regulating his breathing, he fell into thought. A day and a night passed in a flash. He once again summoned the 100 Tribulation Insight avatar. The spreading speed of the purple spots had indeed slowed, but this suppression was like a slow-acting poison. He had thought of methods for a whole night, but none could stop the spread of this goo sorcery. So many years had passed, reigning supreme in the cultivation world. As the sword demon, this was the first time he felt so helpless. He continued to sit cross-legged, regulating his breathing and thinking of a solution. On the 5th day, Yu Shangrong once again summoned his avatar. The 100 Tribulation Insight's golden lotus throne was almost completely infested. Perhaps it was the extreme pressure of the golden lotus being on the verge of complete infestation, but a terrifying thought suddenly erupted in Yu Shangrong's mind. Cut the golden lotus. A very terrifying thought. He was well aware of the consequences of cutting the golden lotus because he had used the longevity sword to cut open countless avatars. Demon Zen avatars, Taoist sect avatars, Confucian heavenly force avatars, Buddhist golden bodies. No matter what kind of avatar, when cut by a heaven-tier weapon, without exception, they would be severely damaged. So, cutting the golden lotus was no different from suicide. When Yu Shangrong thought of this, his fingers actually trembled. He tried to grip the longevity sword scabbard. A generation sword demon was finally extremely nervous. Yu Shanrong maintained this posture, motionless. Anyone in this situation would have to think it over carefully, let alone the possibility of death. Even if you were clearly told that cutting off your legs would save your life, would you dare? Do you have that courage? Yu Shanrong was facing such a choice. Although it was not as cruel as cutting off his legs, cutting the golden lotus was equally difficult to accept. For a cultivator, cultivation was another life. Without cultivation, one was a cripple, no different from being dead. In the pitch-black fragrant grass tomb, Yu Shanrong gripped his scabbard, his thumb occasionally pushing up the longevity sword. The sound of the longevity sword constantly rubbing against its scabbard was exceptionally clear and harsh, like a butcher constantly sharpening his knife. He maintained this for nearly a whole night. Yu Shanrong's thumb did not push up. It is all destined. Perhaps when I left Witch Salty Mountain in my youth, all the endings were already written. Is death so scary? Without cultivation, he would die sooner or later. Yu Shanrong's thumb pushed up the longevity sword with force, more fiercely than any time before. The longevity sword flew into the air. Yu Shanrong's face was composed. He rose and grabbed the longevity sword. At the same time, the 100 Tribulation Insight avatar illuminated the entire fragrant grass tomb. He didn't even look. He swung the longevity sword with force. Sometimes, swinging the sword with force is not just to kill the opponent. After swinging this sword, Yu Shanrong then looked indifferently at the 100 Tribulation Insight avatar. The purple golden lotus and the upper part of the avatar were split in two, one half one up. Even in such a situation, Yu Shanrong did not want to be too disheveled. He raised his hand and pressed several acupoints on his chest. He sat down cross-legged. The moment he sat down, his face turned pale, covered in a cold sweat. The lower half of the avatar fell to the ground and disappeared. The upper part entered his body. Immediately, his energy center and energy sea underwent a dramatic change, like a tsunami, churning violently. How strong can a person be? When facing death so closely, he could still maintain a calm attitude, his expression unchanging, resolute, and unyielding. Just like that, his whole person was as if being roasted in a volcano. All his primal energy seemed to have lost its anchor, running rampant everywhere. He remained as still as a mountain, holding on with great difficulty. Time passed. He didn't know how long it had been. Yu Shanrong felt his consciousness was still there and suddenly opened his eyes. His cultivation began to plummet. From 8 leaf, it dropped to 7 leaf. Then it dropped to 6 leaf. The primal energy stored in his energy center and energy sea slowly drained away. 5 leaf, 4 leaf, 3 leaf, 2 leaf, 1 leaf. Blood finally trickled from the corner of his mouth, but Yu Shanrong did not feel discouraged by this. On the contrary, a satisfied smile appeared on his lips. Even though he was seriously injured, even though the lotus leaves had disappeared, at least his life was still there. Without the golden lotus, there would naturally be no leaf count. This was also within his expectations. It was just a matter of opening the leaves again. His voice, in the fragrant grass tomb, sounded confident and powerful. All the glory has become a memory. Success or failure in life is nothing more than starting over from the beginning. Meanwhile, Jian Aijian's flying letter said that the royal family had already sent troops to Liang State. Cultivators from Lulan and Gentle Edge had also rushed over. With Si Wuya's brilliant intellect, it was impossible that he hadn't calculated this point. He still needed to wait patiently for the situation to develop. Lu Zhou did not speak, but looked at the merit points on the interface. To capture Si Wuya and Yu Zhenghai now, he indeed needed to observe the changes. Merit points, 17900. Perhaps he was already used to the system's routines. Lu Zhou had long been worn down to have no temper at all. He was quite calm. It was just 100,000 merit points. He would just accumulate them slowly. Seeing that his master did not respond, Ming Shirin respectfully left the main hall. Next day, Ming Shirin once again held Jian Aijian's flying letter and came to the main hall. Seeing that his master was painting, it meant that his master was in a good mood. Ming Shirin became a little bolder and said directly, Jian Aijian's flying letter says that the royal family deliberately gave up East State and has sent the 4th prince, Lu Bing, to Liang State to quell the rebellion. However, Si Wuya seemed to have anticipated this result. The underworld sects in the 9 states of Great Flame deliberately caused trouble. Now the world is in chaos. These 2 traitorous disciples, did they really want the world to be in chaos? Could they oppose the divine capital? No one knew. If it were just Yu Zhenghai alone, it probably wouldn't work. But with Si Wuya helping, the variables were much greater. The dark net he possessed was so vast that it was unbelievable. Even Jian Aijian had to be wary of it. Who would dare not to fear him? Did Jian Aijian not mention the matter of the royal family researching the 9-leaf stage? He didn't. Then remind him. Disciple obeys. The 3rd day. Master, Jian Aijian's flying letter. Get to the point. Jian Aijian says that Princess Yongning accompanied the 4th prince on the expedition to Liang State. The underworld sect was attacked from both front and rear. It seems they couldn't escape. Lu Zhou paused, stopping his brush. With a casual wave, the flying letter in Ming Shirin's hand flew into his. With Si Wuya's ability, he wouldn't be so easily surrounded. Princess Yongning? Princess Yongning was just a woman. Why would she go to Liang State with Lu Bing? Just then, Zhu Hongdong's voice came from outside, extremely loud. Disciple pays respects to master. Upon hearing this guy's voice, Ming Shirin became inexplicably irritable. 8th junior brother, if you have something to say it quickly. If you have to fart, let it out. Zhu Hongdong chuckled and said, Master, I know this Princess Yongning. Master, I know about this Princess Yongning. Princess Yongning Yongning like 7th senior brother? I've only heard 7th senior brother mention it once. I don't know anything else. An old flame? No wonder he could escape from Han Yuan's grasp. No wonder he knows so much about the palace's affairs. No wonder he could force Jian Aijian to hide in the evil Sky Pavilion. So he has a princess backing him. I never thought that old 7th, who looks so gentle and refined, would actually be a sanctimonious beast. That sounds a bit bitter. A bit like the roar of a single man. Duan Mushin glanced at Ming Shireen, then went to breathe on and wipe his overlord's spear. Is Sister Yongning pretty? I've never seen her. Little junior sister. Don't ask. This matter is not simple. It must be a trap deliberately left by old 7th. Lu Zhou stroked his beard, nodding in thought. I have 2 enhanced cage bindings left, and 1 lethal strike. My extraordinary power is sufficient. I now have enough capital to capture Si Wuya and Yu Zhenghai. The question is, where will they appear? After a moment of thought, he looked at Ming Shireen and said, if you were Si Wuya, what would you do? If I were Si Wuya, I wouldn't put myself in danger, but I might do the opposite. If something is going on between old 7th and Princess Yongning, he might actually show up in Lian State. As for eldest senior brother, he's not one to fall into a dangerous situation easily. I think eldest senior brother is creating a diversion. Lu Zhou nodded, thinking it made some sense. Then he looked at Zhu Honggong and said, what do you think? Are you asking me? If I were 7th senior brother, I would have to immediately return to the evil Sky Pavilion, kneel before you obediently, and kowtow to apologize. Ming Shireen kicked him. Zhu Honggong dodged to the side, yelping in pain. I'm telling the truth. Lu Zhou didn't intend to blame him, but Si Wuya was not Zhu Honggong. Since he chose to help Yu Zhenghai and oppose the imperial court, there must be a reason. Also, Yu Zhenghai's departure was somewhat similar to Yu Shangrong's, yet very different. All of this could only be known after finding the memory crystal. Based on the information provided by Yu Shangrong, since the original Ji Tiandao sealed this part of his memory, it means he didn't want this memory, and naturally wouldn't let others easily know where it was placed. Si Wuya was the most thoughtful of the 9 disciples. If he didn't know, then it was even more impossible for others to know. I think 7th senior brother might really go to Lian State. Why? Has little junior sister had a flash of insight today? A gut feeling. You fool. Why do I have such a junior brother and junior sister? Why do you have this gut feeling? If Sister Yongning has really been helping him all this time, he wouldn't have the heart to see her fall into the hands of foreigners, would he? He runs faster than anyone. This time, he was more inclined to believe Lil Yuaner's judgment. Although her judgment was based on simple human relationships, it was often these simple things that constituted a fatal weakness. Since ancient times, heroes have always had a weakness for beautiful women. Would Si Wuya be the same? Meanwhile, in a branch of the underworld sect far away, Yu Zhenghai stood with his hands behind his back, looking out the window, and said, with 7th junior brother overseeing the underworld sect, why should I worry about not conquering the world? Now that the 9 provinces are in chaos, I'd like to see what the royal family will do. Eldest senior brother, this is just the beginning. It's best not to be too complacent. That dog emperor is only relying on the divine capital's forbidden army and the 10 absolute array. In terms of personal cultivation, eldest senior brother is naturally number 1 in the world. Junior brother, you can't say such things. I only dare to claim to be the second. Si Wuya didn't respond. Instead, he sat down and looked at the map on the large table in front of him. Everything was going smoothly, so smoothly that he found it a bit strange. Are you worried about the foreign tribes, junior brother? Eldest senior brother, Lu Yan is an extremely patient person. After the second Prince Lu Huan and Moli died, he didn't even attend the morning court sessions and even grounded the Crown Prince Lu Ji. Does he really have the heart to watch his own country be trampled by foreign tribes? Of course not. If that day comes, I will raise my blade and slaughter everyone from Lulan. I will not return until I have eradicated them root and stem. Rest assured, senior brother, Lulan governs with witchcraft. It's not a serious threat. We will destroy them sooner or later to avenge you. Moli is dead. As long as we seize the opportunity, stir up trouble, we can reap the benefits. Junior brother, in that case, don't go to Liang State. Stay with me, have a drink, admire the moon, and strategize. Isn't it wonderful to watch the tigers fight from a safe distance? This opportunity is very important. I must go personally. If Jian Aijian leaves the evil Sky Pavilion, those spies in the palace will become unreliable. A perfectly good third prince of great flame, but he had to choose such a ridiculous name. Aijian? I think it's just Jian. Worthless. If I ever meet him, I'll be sure to give him a few slashes with my sword to vent your anger. Junior brother. It's getting late. Senior brother. We'll meet again. Are you really going? You're not worried about that Princess Yongning, are you? Please trust me. Senior brother. How about this? I'll have the 4 great protectors accompany you. Eldest senior brother. Before he could finish, Yu Zhenghai raised his hand to interrupt him. This is my bottom line. My cultivation has long been restored, so why should I worry? It is you I am worried about. If something happens to you, I won't be able to rest or eat in peace. Thank you, eldest senior brother. The next morning, as the sun's rays first touched the east pavilion of the evil Sky Pavilion, Lu Zhou opened his eyes. He opened the system interface to check his remaining lifespan and merit points. Remaining lifespan, 6,769 days. Lately, I've been so preoccupied with the 9-leaf stage that I forgot to acquire merit. So much time has passed. Remembering yesterday's events, Lu Zhou used 10 reversal cards again. Now, no matter what fluctuations occur in the East Pavilion, the others won't question it. The convergence of life energy made Lu Zhou feel his body bodily functions recovering. Although not many years had been reversed, there were still some subtle changes. A closer look revealed no difference from before, but at first glance, his spiritual state seemed better. He didn't dare to use too many reversal cards at once. A drastic change in his appearance would surely be questioned by his disciples in the evil Sky Pavilion. A small, gradual approach wouldn't be easily noticed and wouldn't diminish his authority. After using 10 reversal cards, there were 33 left. The lifespan column showed 9,769 days. Merit points, 17,900. Not too bad. Early in the morning, let's try the lottery. He went straight for a 10 pull. All of them were thank you for playing. Not winning anything actually made him feel more awake. The people from Heaven Chosen Temple left early this morning. They wanted to bid you farewell but didn't want to disturb you. Xiao Yu's voice came from outside. Understood. Lu Zhou thought for a moment, and with a wave of his hand, the peacock feather appeared, then disappeared with another wave. He walked out of the East Pavilion, the sunlight falling on Xiao Yu's body. Call your little junior sister here. Little junior sister trained too late last night and is still not awake. If there's anything, just command me. Xiao Yu had heard about yesterday's events and guessed that her master might be going out, so she quickly volunteered. Training? That little girl is becoming more and more hardworking. It's a good thing. Has your avatar sprouted a leaf? And not yet. I've just entered the nascent divinity tribulation realm and am still studying the Azure Fall Blade. I will do my best to sprout a leaf as soon as possible. Without a leaf, your cultivation is much weaker. It's not very reliable to count on her to protect me. It's better to call your little junior sister over. As you command, Master. Little junior sister's cultivation isn't high either, and she's reckless. Yet Master is still willing to take her out to gain experience. Xiao Yu turned and left, sighing inwardly. Master is so good to little junior sister. Lu Zhou lifted his hair and took a look. The change wasn't significant, but his gray hair had a few more strands of black. Sometimes he also wondered, if he had enough reversal cards and became young overnight, what would happen? And what would his disciples think if they saw him? Was the young Ji Tiandao ugly or handsome? Why am I having these ridiculous thoughts again? You called for me? Lu Zhou's gaze fell on little Yuaner. She had indeed grown much taller and her appearance had changed a lot. To be precise, she had become more lively and beautiful. Going out like this would inevitably attract attention. Change into some ordinary clothes. We are going to Lian State. I'll go right away, Master. Just then, Pan Lydian appeared near the East Pavilion. This old servant pays his respects to the Pavilion Lord. Lu Zhou found it strange. Pan Lydian had also been seriously injured in the battle against the great sorcerer Bama and should be recuperating in the pavilion. Is something the matter, Elder Pan? Pan Lydian didn't speak, but looked around. Seeing no one, he knelt. Lu Zhou was taken aback. Although he was worthy of this kneeling, what kind of person was Pan Lydian? He was once the top master of the Clarity Sect, crowned with countless honors. How could he kneel so easily? What is the meaning of this, Elder Pan? This old servant has a favor to ask. Come in. I would like to plead for His Highness the Fourth Prince. Hearing this, Lu Zhou was not surprised. When Pan Lydian left the Clarity Sect, he was seriously injured and was fortunate to be saved by the Fourth Prince. However, he had served in the army for many years and had already repaid that debt of gratitude. The Fourth Prince, Lu Bing, had guarded the borders for years and was dedicated to his duty, a respectable figure indeed. Why should I repay the debt you owe? Pan Lydian was stunned. He has no grievance or enmity with me. Why do you need to plead for him? These words immediately enlightened Pan Lydian. It made a lot of sense. Lu Bing had no grievance with the evil Sky Pavilion, so why would the evil Sky Pavilion attack him? It was he who was being meddlesome by coming to plead. How embarrassing. You are the great demon lord. Does a great demon lord need a reason to attack someone? Just as he looked up, the pavilion lord had vanished. A day later, in Lian State City, it was different from before. Lu Zhou had changed into the coarse cloth clothes of a commoner and didn't look any different from an ordinary old man. Si Weiyao was too cunning and had too many spies. He had to keep a low profile. Never mind using a flying chariot to catch him. Any slight display of style would scare this traitorous disciple away. This thorough disguise was much safer. Upon entering Lian State City, Lu Zhou and little Yuaner were somewhat surprised. There were no city guards or archers, and the city walls were stained with mottled blood, clearly indicating a battle had just ended. From time to time, groups of 3 to 5 cultivators appeared in the sky. Lian State City seemed quiet and desolate. A troop of horsemen galloped through the city, each looking fierce. Lu Zhou grabbed little Yuaner and moved to the side of the road. Those horsemen galloped towards the city gate, probably the soldiers guarding the city. Master, they look so fierce. Pay them no mind. The two walked into the city. Lian State City, being in a state of war, seemed somewhat desolate. Finding an inn to stay in was not so easy. Just as the two were looking for a place to stay, a middle-aged man appeared at an intersection. He looked around and whistled at Lu Zhou and little Yuaner. Old sir, are you talking to me? You're from out of town, aren't you? If you have something to say it quickly. Lian State is very chaotic right now. I've been observing you two for a long time. You must need a place to stay. Come with me. I'll arrange a place for you. How did this person know they were looking for a place to stay just after they entered Lian State City? Moreover, Lian State was likely to become the next battleground, with the whole city on alert. This middle-aged man seemed quite bold. When something is out of the ordinary, there must be a catch. You can arrange a place to stay. It's chaotic outside. You'll know when you get there. Please lead the way. They would be staying in Lian State for a while anyway, looking for the whereabouts of Yu Zhenghai and Si Weia. Led by the middle-aged middle-aged man. The three of them passed through several streets and arrived outside a manor. The middle-aged man acted secretively and whistled to someone inside. At that moment, two men ran over. Two more have come. You arrange it. Two more? What does more mean? Lu Zhou was puzzled but remained calm. Is this the lodging you found for me? Please come in. Suddenly, he felt that this manor was like an illegal workshop. Is your master's surname Shen? The old master remembers. Shen Liangshou. At the moment he asked, a faint impression came to mind. Ha, old sir, since you know my master's name, you should be more polite. If this were any other place, you would have been driven away long ago. Shen Liangshou, indeed, had some fame. The cultivation world had a blacklist, and naturally, it also had a whitelist. The first on the blacklist was almost indisputably the Grandmaster of the Evil Sky Pavilion, Ji Tiandao. Where there is black, there is white. The first on this whitelist was the great philanthropist Shen Liangshou, who had done countless good deeds. Only he could do such nonsensical good deeds without motive or reason, and only he could still have a foothold in Lian State City, respected by both the righteous and the wicked. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and nodded, then walked inside. Above the entire manor, a faint, transparent barrier appeared, looking like a water bubble. Lu Zhou and little Yuaner were quickly arranged a place to stay. My master has said that anyone who enters the manor must have their cultivation tested to prevent trouble. I hope you two will cooperate. I didn't expect the Shen Liangshou to be so cautious. If you're doing good deeds, then just do them. Why do you need to know others' true cultivation level? The man took out a crystal stone from his pocket. This kind of crystal stone was usually only used by large sects when recruiting disciples or by the royal family when recruiting talent. For Shen Liangshou to be doing this, it must not be the first or second time. Master, test me, said little Yuaner. I'm afraid your cultivation level will scare them. Ah, scare us? Look at him, acting as if he's seen it all. Many masters from the underworld sect appeared in Lian State City, and I wasn't scared. You think I'll be scared of you too? Girl, let's test your master. I want to be tested too. My cultivation is very high. This crystal stone is quite valuable. A medium-sized one can only be used 10 or 8 times before its energy is greatly depleted. Using this to test cultivation, a cultivator usually can't fake it. Test the old sir first. The crystal stone hummed and lit up. A look of surprise flashed in the man's eyes. So it's the divine court realm. Forgive my ignorance. Such high cultivation, you really scared me. In any case, a divine court realm expert was not someone to be trifled with. He glanced at little Yuaner next to him and said, please make yourselves comfortable. Little Yuaner said strangely, what about me? I haven't been tested yet. However, the man completely ignored her, turned around, and left. Even the master is only at the divine court realm. How high can the little girls be? You want me to test you, but I refuse. Tonight, I'll let you know what a treacherous heart is. Shen Liangshou was the #1 on the whitelist, having done countless good deeds. Unexpectedly, he was so bold as to stay in Lian State, not even fearing the underworld sect. In the evening, Master, I can use forceful energy blades to kill mosquitoes now. Lu Zhou opened his eyes, glanced at her, and shook his head helplessly. Sometimes, people are just so strange. Some people try their best to learn but can't, while others only need to take a brief look and they've learned it. Little Yuaner was probably the latter. I'll get the door. Little Yuaner ran over and opened the door. A middle-aged man in a gray robe walked in, glanced at little Yuaner, and nodded. Who are you? This is Steward Zhou, who manages all affairs, big and small, in the manor. I will take my leave. Steward Zhou clasped his hands at Lu Zhou. Old sir, where is Shen Liangshou? Steward Zhou's brow furrowed slightly. Shen Liangshou was #1 on the whitelist, his reputation well known. It was normal for people to know his name. However, this old man calling him by his full name was a bit rude, but he didn't show it. Old sir, let's get straight to the point. What is it? Your little granddaughter is quite good. My master is willing to pay a high price to buy her. Vaguely, one could see people pacing back and forth outside his lookouts. There was even movement on the roof, clearly indicating the place was being watched. When little Yuaner heard this, she was about to flare up, but Lu Zhou raised his hand, signaling her to step back. Shen Liangshou was #1 on the whitelist, and all his deeds were praised. He had a good reputation in the cultivation world. How could he be involved in such shady business behind the scenes? Old sir, you're an experienced man. Why pretend to be ignorant? Is there such a thing as a free lunch in this world that lets you eat and live for free? That also made sense. Even if he had mountains of gold and silver, it wouldn't be enough to squander on just doing good deeds. Reasonable. Human life is as worthless as grass. Old sir, you are only at the divine court realm. Coming to Lian State, you will die at the hands of those foreigners sooner or later. It would be better to find a good home for your disciple. You could also live out your later years in comfort. Isn't that wonderful? The ultimate white is the ultimate black. I'm just a little surprised, that's all. Compared to the evil Sky Pavilion, Mr. Shen has just chosen a different path. People die for wealth, birds die for food. In essence, there is no difference. Does Shen Liangshou deserve to be compared with the evil Sky Pavilion? Of course not. Mr. Shen has always regarded the Grandmaster of the evil Sky Pavilion as his life's goal. How would he dare to compare himself to him? Lu Zhou felt a bit speechless. I'm an idol. I actually have such an admirer. The reason I'm telling you so much is out of respect for your divine court realm cultivation. Liang State is in chaos now, with the underworld sect, Lulan people, and gentle edge people lurking everywhere. With your cultivation, you can at best protect yourself. What if I don't agree? As soon as he said this, the door was pushed open. In the courtyard, several cultivators descended from the sky. These people's cultivation levels were not weak. Each Each was at the Brahma Sea realm. The steward Zhou before him was at the peak of the divine court realm. If the old sir doesn't agree, then I'll have to reluctantly do it myself. Commendable courage. Lu Zhou shook his head and waved his hand somewhat helplessly at little Yuan. Steward Zhou, after all, was a peak divine court realm expert. He suddenly felt that the old man before him possessed an aura that even Mr. Shen lacked, an irresistible aura. A nascent divinity tribulation realm expert. He quickly retreated, mobilizing his primal energy. Don't throw away the trash. Before Steward Zhou could see clearly, little Yuan kicked him in the chest. He shot upwards like a cannonball, bursting through the roof, knocking the two cultivators on the roof senseless, and tumbling upwards, creating a hole. Then he fell straight down. He landed in front of little Yuan, lying motionless on the ground. This sudden attack left all the cultivators inside and outside the house stunned, looking at the little girl in front of them with disbelief. Little Yuan felt bored and pouted. Master, he's not dead. Can I kick him again? This sentence made Steward Zhou spit out another mouthful of blood. What happened? It looks like a meteor just crashed down. Steward Zhou raised his hand and pointed resentfully at the man who had tested their cultivation at the door. At this gesture, the man collapsed to the ground. He couldn't speak anymore. He really wanted to say that he didn't know the little girl's cultivation was even higher than her master's. If you don't want to die, have Shen Liangshou come see me. At that moment, figures began to gather outside the door. Don't come in. Old sir, do you really want to oppose Mr. Shen? You're so annoying. My master can see whoever he wants to see. Are you not convinced? As she spoke, she brandished her little fist, scaring Steward Zhou into shrinking back. This girl seems to be unreasonable. He could only hope that this divine court realm old man could be reasoned with. By tomorrow morning, I want to see Shen Liangshou. I will not repeat the same words a second time. Steward Zhou was stunned. At that moment, little Yuan summoned her 100 Tribulation Insight avatar. Oh my god, a nascent divinity tribulation realm expert. An avatar with leaves. This, scared stiff. Are you? Such a coward. Master, summon your old avatar and let them broaden their horizons. No mischief. I was wrong, master. Lu Zhou left the room with his hands behind his back. One of the cultivators saw this and quickly said, I will prepare a new room for you. I almost forgot. You are not worthy of seeing my master's avatar. After the two left, Steward Zhou and the man who tested the cultivation stared at each other. The man, holding the crystal, was about to cry. Steward Zhou, please, sir, be magnanimous. That old man, is he really in the divine court realm? May you die a horrible death for lying. Steward Zhou's eyes were bloodshot. That kick had severely injured him. Divine court realm or not, could he not judge for himself? Notify Mr. Shen. Tell him to hurry here. You can scram. The meaning of scram in the Shen family manner meant that even if you didn't die, you would become a deaf, mute, and blind cripple. How could they let you easily spread the word about the business they were doing here? It was just a very euphemistic term. Hearing this, the man leaned back, his face ashen. Night fell. You have comprehended all the contents of the human role of the heavenly writing 100 times. Reward, heavenly book unfolding. Medium. Lu Zhou was a little surprised. He remembered that comprehending the heavenly writing 100 times took a considerable amount of time. Hearing this notification meant that a lot of time had passed. Heavenly book unfolding. He already had 2 parts. He was still missing the lower part. The last part should be in Mount Wuxian. This reminded him of Yu Shanrong. Yu Shanrong's personality was the same as when he was a child. No matter what happened, he never made a sound and insisted on solving problems silently by himself. Hopefully, nothing bad will happen to him. My childhood dream was to become a successful street sweeper. Being able to come out and sweep the streets before dawn is such a blessing. It sounded like a pig was being slaughtered in that manner last night. This is someone summoning an avatar, and there are many of them. 5 or 6 cultivators were suspended above the manor. In the middle was a small flying chariot, just big enough for one person. The resonance of this surging aura indicated that there were at least 2 nascent divinity tribulation realm experts outside. The flying chariot landed at this time, and the other cultivators followed. This Shen Liangshou indeed had some tricks up his sleeve. Who is so bold as to cause trouble in my Shen manor? The voice was deep and powerful, obviously a deliberate warning. Shen Liangshou was actually a cultivation expert. Lu Zhou waved his hand casually, and the door was blown open by forceful energy. Are you Shen Liangshou? Insolent. A sonic wave passed over. The one who spoke was Feng Ping, Shen Liangshou's top master. This display of power is so satisfying. Killing is just a matter of a falling head, but you have to respect the owner when you beat a dog. Feng Ping's figure hovered in the air as he sent out dozens of palm prints. Lu Zhou shook his head helplessly, about to use the extraordinary power of the heavenly writing. Little Yuan stepped forward with the 7 stars gathering cloud step, and the Brahma heaven silk bloomed. She blocked all the palm prints. Little Yuan appeared in front of Lu Zhou, pointing at Feng Ping above. You dare to attack my master? As soon as she finished speaking, Little Yuan used the 7 stars gathering cloud step and charged towards Feng Ping. Instantly, the entire manor was filled with crisscrossing forceful energy. I also happen to be very interested in seeing how much Little Yuan has improved recently. Little Yuan was sometimes on the left, sometimes on the right, as if the entire space above was filled with her figures. Steward Zhou and the others watched with astonished faces. How is this girl so powerful? She can actually fight Feng Ping to a standstill. Steward Zhou deeply regretted his decision. Because of a subordinate's stupid mistake, he had offended a powerful figure. Normally, if a high-level expert's cultivation cultivation was detected, they would be treated with courtesy. How would they dare to take advantage of them? The more little Yuan fought, the more excited she became, her laughter echoing throughout the manor. The more Feng Ping fought, the angrier he became. He was a four-leaf nascent divinity tribulation realm expert, yet he was being suppressed by a little girl. Activate avatar. The Brahma heaven silk wrapped around little Yuan, and she flew backward. You mangy dog, you summon your avatar when you can't win. There was a difference in their realms, so using an avatar to attack was the best choice. Feng Ping clapped his hands together, and several palm prints shot towards little Yuan. The Brahma heaven silk once again blocked the front, and all the palm prints dissipated against its defense. It really is a heaven grade. Shen Lianshu, sitting on the flying chariot, had a gleam in his eyes, but his expression quickly returned to calm, as if nothing had happened. He said in a loud voice, "Stop. Old sir, to cut off someone's livelihood is like killing their parents. Why don't we sit down and talk things over?" As he spoke, he looked at the red Brahma heaven silk on little Yuan. "I will give you a chance to atone for your crime. 1. Cripple your own cultivation. 2. Truthfully answer all my questions. 3. For as long as I am in Liang State City, you all will be at my disposal." Since Shen Lianshu was the number 1 on the whitelist, regardless of whether his deeds were black or white, it was none of his business. But today's matter was unforgivable. These 3 points were a very reasonable punishment. To be able to say this to Mr. Shen, what gives him the confidence? Not good. I am already seriously injured. If a real fight breaks out, he will be at a disadvantage no matter what. Old sir, this joke is not funny at all. I never joke. There are very few people in this world who can make me, Shen, submit. In my life, I, Shen, have only admired 2 people. Oh, the first is the current Emperor Yongqing. The second is the Grandmaster of the Evil Sky Pavilion. That is someone I admire. Steward Zhou was not lying. This Shen Lianshu really did see me as an idol. The number 1 on the whitelist idolizes the number 1 on the blacklist. The thought itself is quite ironic. Then you should hurry down and bow to my master. These words were said with sincerity and seriousness, but to Shen Lianshu, they sounded like a clear provocation. Feng Ping's eyes sharpened. His body moved, leaving an afterimage in his place. Everyone watched with bated breath as Feng Ping went all out. Just as little Yuan was about to make a move, she saw her master raise his palm. Since master is making a move, it's a sure win. A purple, lightning-like light appeared in Lu Zhou's palm. He bent his arm and pushed forward. The aura of the divine court realm? Ha! Die! Just as he was about to touch Lu Zhou, Feng Ping looked up and saw purple lightning descending from the sky. He couldn't help but exclaim, "Thunderous energy!" A bolt of thunderous energy hit Feng Ping. Everyone present was stunned. The thunderous energy hit Feng Ping, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His energy center and energy sea felt as if they had been heavily struck, and he lost all ability to resist. The chance of thunderous energy being lethal was very low, but the probability of it causing serious injury was quite good. Steward Zhou's legs trembled, and he collapsed to the ground, his face ashen. This is the divine court realm? This is the freaking divine court realm? Can a divine court realm expert seriously injure the 4-leaf nascent divinity tribulation realm expert Feng Ping in 1 move? Are you kidding me? My cultivation is only 1 leaf higher than Feng Ping's, barely entering the threshold of a 5-leaf great cultivator. But facing the old man who defeated Feng Ping in 1 move, his confidence was shaken. At this point, there was no turning back. All the other cultivators flew into the air and surrounded Lu Zhou and little Yuan, stubbornly resisting. "You're really stupid. Since you admire my master so much, why don't you hurry up and beg for mercy?" Little girl, I, Shen, was able to sit on the throne of the number 1 on the whitelist. How could I be so easily deceived? Take them down. With that command, numerous cultivators swarmed forward. I have long had a portrait of Ji Tiandao hanging in my study, which I admire daily. The person before me is far from it. This couldn't be blamed on Lu Zhou. After all, Ji Tiandao didn't groom himself much, and being old, his hair was messy and his temper was explosive. Now, a dignified and somewhat gentle old man stood before him, so naturally, the difference was too great. Bayan looked fiercely at the crowd. "Where did you come from? You hid yourself well." The cultivators were terrified and fell into chaos. Like a plate of loose sand, Bayan pounced on the surrounding cultivators. Ding! Killed a target. Gain 10 merit points. Ding! Killed a target. Gain 10 merit points. I'll remember this. We will meet again. With his flying chariot, he was confident he could escape. Lu Zhou looked at the flying chariot that had just ascended into the sky, his expression as calm as usual. He raised his left hand, and his right hand followed. He condensed his energy into a forceful energy, forming a light blue bow. Between his right index and middle fingers was a blue arrow made of forceful energy. From the beginningless, in all existences, I have been reborn in the cycle of reincarnation, and I know it all. The arrow of forceful energy left the string. Under the night sky, it was like blue fireworks, soaring through the air, reflecting the moonlight and leaving a long tail. Shen Lianshu felt a strange sound coming from behind him and turned to look. What is that? An arrow of forceful energy? He quickly activated his avatar. A protective layer of forceful energy enveloped his entire body. The arrow passed through it as if it were tofu, piercing through the avatar and also his energy center and energy sea. The flying chariot shattered, and Shen Lianshu fell from the sky. It hit. I want to learn archery too. If this arrow had been used with the nameless sword, it would have been enough to kill a 5-leaf expert. Using the same 1/3 of his extraordinary power, he had previously used the nameless sword with the divine power of the host's responsive thoughts to kill the sword demon Luo Changqing. Now, he could only knock the 5-leaf Shenliangshu down. Without a heaven-grade weapon and being at a distance, the power was indeed much weaker. However, this arrow had pierced Shenliangshu's energy center and energy C, which was equivalent to crippling his cultivation. He looked at Lu Zhou with a face full of shock. I gave you a chance. You didn't cherish it. Are you from the Luo Sect? What damn Luo Sect? Are you convinced now? I'm convinced. In pain and terror, he lay on the ground struggling for a long time before gradually calming down. Lu Zhou raised his hand, and several forceful energy blades flew out, striking his acupuncture points. Shenliangshu's pain immediately disappeared. His previous arrogance was gone without a trace. After showing its might, Bian circled satisfyingly in the air before slowly landing. The only ones left were the ordinary people of the Shin Manor and those low-level cultivators who were not worth mentioning. This mount is interesting. It actually knows to pick targets that give merit points. Unfortunately, the merit points only increased by 200. The rate of acquiring them from killing targets below the Divine Court realm has become very slow. Steward Zhou and Feng Ping lay on the ground, completely incapacitated. Shenliangshu sat up, rubbed his eyes, and upon seeing the fearsome-looking Bian, immediately shrank back. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and shook his head, asking, "When did you start this shady business?" "Old sir, I was just trying to survive. I just started." Lu Zhou didn't care about this. After all, it had nothing to do with him. "Tell me about the situation in Lian State City." Little Yuan obediently moved a chair from the room and placed it behind Lu Zhou. "The situation in Lian State City? It's chaotic. Very chaotic. Before you arrived, the followers of the Underworld Sect fought a battle with the garrison of Lian State City. The casualties were countless. What about the foreign tribes? Many Western Frontier Lulan people and Gentle Edge people have indeed appeared in Lian State City, but I don't know where they are. Only these 2 tribes? The 5 nations of the Western Frontier and the 7 nations of the Northern Frontier have always been well behaved. Apart from Lulan and Gentle Edge, I haven't heard of any other foreign tribes. Since Emperor Yongshou of Great Flame conquered the Western and Northern Frontiers, Great Flame has always been at the core. Many foreign tribes reorganized themselves into the 5 nations of the Western Frontier and the 7 nations of the Northern Frontier. These 12 nations have always had ambitions and often used small incidents to invade the borders of Great Flame. The 4th Prince, Lu Bing, has been stationed at the border for many years to deter these nations with his might. Where's the 4th Prince, Lu Bing? Now, I've only heard that His Highness the 4th Prince led an army of 300,000 and 5,000 cultivators, dividing his forces to guard the 10 cities of Lian State. I don't know which city he is in. Of the 10 cities in Lian State, 5 are protected by formations, and 5 are not. The 4th Prince would not put himself in a dangerous situation. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and said, "Use your means to investigate. If you handle this matter well, I will spare you." Shenliangshu was overjoyed and quickly bowed. "I am willing to serve you, old sir." That night, Shenliangshu had no choice but to stay in the manor, not far from Lu Zhou's room. After that arrow crippled his cultivation, he was even more terrified, worried that his subordinates might backstab him. Lian State was a dog-eat-dog world where reason didn't apply. He still had ways to restore his cultivation. Although it was difficult, there was still hope. For example, with the Black Magnolia. Before that, he had to find a way to protect himself. In this case, the safest place was actually by this old sir's side. The next morning, "Old sir, I have already ordered people to investigate. His Highness the 4th Prince is very likely in Mo City in the northern part of Lian State." After waiting for a while, he heard a voice from inside the room. "What is the Underworld Sect's movement? I heard that the Underworld Sect's leader, Yu Zhenghai, and the 4 great protectors have also gone to Mo City. The Underworld Sect is now causing chaos throughout the world, and Yu Zhenghai is the great disciple of the evil Sky Pavilion. His cultivation is terrifying. With him personally taking action, even if the 4th Prince has a strong army, he is no match for him. Continue to investigate." Another day passed. Shenliangshu stood outside the door again to report. "A great change has occurred in the 10 cities of Lian State. The Underworld Sect and the 4th Prince have started fighting. Both sides have suffered heavy losses. The 5 cities without formations were captured by the Underworld Sect overnight. I'm afraid it won't be long before they fight their way into Lian State City. Investigate further." On the morning of the 4th day, before dawn, Shenliangshu, completely different from his usual self, rushed to the door in a panic. "Old sir, leave Lian State City quickly. The city's formation has been controlled by a traitor, and the Underworld Sect has broken through the city gates." As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of horse hooves echoed through Lian State City, along with groups of cultivators flying in the sky. "I am Yu Hong, the 2nd in command of the Underworld Sect's Azure Dragon Hall. Those who follow me will prosper. Those who resist will perish. All cultivators, come out immediately." The Underworld Sect's method was to use high-level experts to hold back high-level experts, and low-level ones to hold back low-level ones, thus creating an overwhelming advantage. Now that his cultivation was gone, how could he be qualified to fight them? "Are you injured?" "Yes." He wanted to point to Lu Zhou's room but didn't dare. "Take him away." 2 cultivators descended from above and seized Shenliangshu. The door opened. Lu Zhou walked out of the room with his hands behind his back. He looked up. Yu Hong sensed that the old man before him was only at the Divine Court realm and shook his head, saying, "No matter who it is, anyone who opposes my Underworld Sect will not be spared. How dare you speak to my master like that?" Logically speaking, most great cultivators had their own allegiances, especially especially those at the nascent divinity tribulation realm and above, who were backed by their sects. The underworld sect would first target the Clarity sect, the Orthodox sect, and other major sects, absorbing many of their experts and intimidating other great cultivators. This way, other great cultivators would not dare to act rashly. Within Great Flame, the underworld sect only needed to deal with the Great Flame royal family. As for the cultivators encountered in the current chaos, to prevent accidents, they were all captured first. Afterwards, those who should be released would be released, and not a single one with problems would be left. This was the strategy set for the underworld sect by Mr. Seventh, to prevent anyone from taking advantage of the chaos to cause trouble. Yu Hong also sensed the aura of the suddenly appeared little girl and frowned. Early nascent divinity tribulation realm? How could a nascent divinity tribulation realm cultivator be in Lian State? I am Yu Hong, the second in command of the underworld sect's Azure Dragon Hall. I don't know why you two are in Lian State City, but for now, please cooperate and come with us for a while. The second in command has always respected the strong. Yu Hong of the underworld sect? Lu Zhou only knew of the four great protectors. He naturally had no impression of such a second-tier figure. The old sir doesn't know of the underworld sect. Just as little Yuaner was about to speak, Lu Zhou stopped her. This girl's careless words could easily ruin things. I know a little. My sect leader is the chief disciple of the evil Sky Pavilion and one of the few 8-leaf experts in the cultivation world today. I want to see you Shanghai or Si Wuya. I will go with you. Her mind couldn't figure out why he was doing this, but then she thought, no matter what her master does, there must be a reason, so she didn't cause trouble and obediently followed Lu Zhou. Thank you for your cooperation, including Shen Liangshou. The three of them followed Yu Hong and the others, leaving the manor. Steward Zhou and Feng Ping were seriously injured and were taken away by other ordinary sect members. In the afternoon, the underworld sect successfully occupied Lian State City. Lu Zhou and the others were taken to the garrison post in Lian State specially arranged for cultivators. About 50 other cultivators below the Brahma Sea realm were also sent here. In comparison, Lu Zhou and Little Yuaner had the highest cultivation among this group, so it was no wonder that Yu Hong treated them specially. As for Shen Liangshou, without his cultivation, ordinary sect members could guard him. Please rest assured, you too, you will be inconvenienced for a few days. Once our sect captures the 10 cities of Lian State, we will let you go. Can the underworld sect capture Mo City? Why not? To be honest, our sect has Mr. Seventh of the evil Sky Pavilion overseeing things. This world will sooner or later belong to the underworld sect. Mo City is protected by the Dragon Spiral Formation. How will you attack it? Yu Hong was taken aback. If this were a normal situation and a strange cultivator dared to question the underworld sect like this, Yu Hong would have slapped him long ago. But these two had high cultivation levels, especially the seemingly dazed little girl next to the old man, who was at the nascent divinity tribulation realm. At a critical moment, it was better to pacify such strong individuals. I believe in the abilities of our sect leader in Mr. Seventh. After speaking, he turned and left. Impressive, impressive. To dare to speak to the second in command of the underworld sect's Azure Dragon Hall in such a tone. Old sir, we are just outsiders. Why ask so many questions? We should avoid bringing trouble upon ourselves. That's right, we have food and drink here. They can fight their battles. I don't care who rules the world. As long as I have enough to eat and drink, I don't care. Lu Zhou paid no attention to this group of low-level cultivators. His goal was to capture Si Wuya and Yu Zhenghai. Nothing else mattered. The mission list was the same as before. Apart from Yi Tianxin, neither Yu Zhenghai nor Si Wuya had appeared. The other 6 main missions all showed discipline. Old sir, about our matter, I always keep my promises. Thank you, old sir. Shen Liangshou stayed close, wanting to find some protection. Now that Lian State City was in peril, no one could say for sure who would be the next to die. In the evening, a sonic wave swept across the entire camp. Foreign tribe invasion. All underworld sect members at the Brahma Sea realm and above, follow me. Yu Hong flew past in the air with his 4-meter-tall avatar, which was exceptionally dazzling. The cultivators of the underworld sect immediately flew up, following Yu Hong towards the northern city wall of Lian State. Foreign tribe invasion? No need to be afraid. I should have brought Ming Shireen. The little girl still lacks experience. In the direction of the city wall, a huge avatar appeared. A 7-meter-tall avatar. A 6-leaf expert. My god, 7 meters tall, enough to leap over the city wall. There really are foreign tribes. Everyone looked towards the northern sky. Near the giant avatar, there were fly-like black figures circling and attacking the avatar. The direction the avatar was moving was towards Lian State City. The Gentle Edge people. If there are Gentle Edge people, then there must also be Lulan people. Old sir, the underworld sect has no time to bother with us now. This is a great opportunity to leave. Lu Zhou glanced at him but said nothing. Shen Liangshou, of course, really wanted to leave, but in his current condition, running out would only get him hacked to death. A 7-meter avatar should be one of the underworld sect's 4 great protectors, Di Qing or Yang Yan. It's not exciting to watch from here. The sudden appearance of the foreign tribes caught the numerous cultivators in the underworld sect's camp off guard. Half of the 1,000+ cultivators remained on the towering city wall to prevent the enemy from flying over. At the same time, they activated the small formations on the city wall to attack the foreign tribesmen attempting to invade from the air. The soldiers below the wall were to reinforce the wall and gate, while also providing support, supplies, and medical treatment to the cultivators on the wall. When the cultivators battled battle was more or less decided. Only then would the fate of the ordinary people's battle be determined. In a national war, unless absolutely necessary, the ones standing in front would always be the cultivators. This was the foundation of Great Flame's existence and one of the basic methods of combat in the current cultivation world. Old sir, Shin has a question to ask, if I may be so bold. Lu Zhou was observing the battle on the city wall. After the Liang state garrison was taken down by the underworld sect, they could now only rely on themselves to resist the foreign tribes. However, this should have been within Siwuya's calculations. Why did it seem so chaotic and powerless? Was it intentional? Is the old sir from the Luo sect? Why do you say that? The Luo sect of the three sects is a sect of skilled archers. The sect is full of master archers. The grandmaster of the Luo sect is a supreme expert in archery, said to have killed a high-level beast in the Tianshan forest with a single arrow. There are countless skilled archers in the world. The mere Luo sect is not worth mentioning. Shin Liangshu was speechless for a moment. To be able to belittle the Luo sect so much. This tone was not ordinary. Excellent, excellent. Old sir, why not stand high in the sky and kill the foreigners? I am a five-leaf expert, and even I couldn't withstand that one arrow. If the old sir goes all out and captures the leader among the bandits, it would be of great help in changing the tide of the battle. No matter what shady business I do, I don't want to see these foreign tribesmen set foot in Great Flame. Lu Zhou observed the battle on the city wall and did not immediately answer his question. If it was as he said, he would inevitably expose himself. How could he capture Yu Xinghai or Siwuya then? No rush. With the underworld sect's strength, it should be enough to deal with these foreign tribes. Shin Liangshu dared not speak further. I want to go have a look. The two of them hurried towards the city wall. Shin Liangshu was startled, looked left and right, and saw that the camp was already empty. He quickly shouted, "Wait for me."